Good morning, Karen from QuantumHeartAwakening. This will be a new type of reading. We are going to do a self-care reading today. I was feeling the shift in the energies, and there are some astrological changes happening today and every day for the next chunk of time. But specifically today, the energy felt less dense. It felt easier to move through, and there was a kindness unfolding. And that kindness allowed for this slowness. And I thought, wow, that's worthy of a reading. So let's see where we go today. Okay. I'm drawn to this quote. It says, "Don't dehydrate yourself on the way to the fountain of youth." On this path, it can be so easy to start cutting corners when we feel that we've found our stride. It's very exciting to hit certain benchmarks on this path of healing and oneness. It's incredibly motivating to see how far we've come and to push even harder. But I'm here to tell you that that is not the way through. Again, we're bringing this mass amount of kindness into our quantum field, or we're pulling it from the quantum field and allowing it to take up space in our vessels. Yeah, this kindness is wrapped up in so many things. There's kindness in intention, there's kindness in evaluation and remembering, there is kindness in taking time and space to go at our own pace. There is kindness in slowing down so that we can taste what is in front of us fully and completely. There's a certain sensuality to this kindness. We actually have this beauty card and the sensuality card. There's something here about not fearing the journey of walking solo in during this time. There's something here about honoring that this reality, wherever whatever reality you're tasting right now, is only the beginning. There's this great quote over here that says, "If the bar is too high, get a ladder." And it's funny because that could feel counterintuitive to the self-care reading. You know, that sounds like a very land of opportunity kind of phrase, right? Push through. If the bar is too high, find a way no matter what. It feels kind of like this aggressive, assertive, forceful step forward. And what's interesting about that is reshifting that. If the bar is too high, get a ladder. And your ladder could be rest. Your ladder could be climbing your way to alone time and some solitude. Your ladder could be calling in support and collaboration. You know, we are repatterning the language that we use to talk about this. It's very easy to get caught up in the language of overexertion. You know, push motivation to the past, to the point where you're pushing past your own boundaries. It's very easy to cross your own boundaries when you start getting close to your desires or your target or your goals. It's so easy to slip into that unhealthy pattern. So this entire reading, even my voice, it's almost like I cannot speak faster than this. The energies won't let me. And even this for me, I go through moments where I speak very fast and other moments where I am in a deeply introspective place. The more sensitive I become to energies, the more time and space I actually have to take to discern what is moving through me. And that has been an evolution of that skill and these experiences. But I'm really drawn to, so I've trying to include the bottom of the decks in this lower row here. These are what are coming up in the unconscious, and I'm very much drawn to time and coming to the edge. So for some of you, again, you may have patterns of not being able to discern what is your edge. What is an edge for yourself? That could be both with the bandwidth that you have to, what is your edge of the amount of energy you have to give? Do you work a long day, come home, parent the kids, and then still continue to give when you have nothing more to give? Because again, these are places where we are leaking power, and you will actually pull power from places that really need it. So from your creativity, from your relationships, from your mental capabilities, and then finally the last level that you will pull from, which is the most dire and important, is that your energy, if you are operating at a deficit, this energy will pull from your cellular energy bank. Your cellular, I just want to say that again, your cellular energy bank. This is our health. This is our wellness. This is our actual biology. This is something that is part of energy anatomy. This is like how we discover our life's story within our actual biology. So you can look more into that if that is interesting to you. It's insane. It's amazing. I highly recommend diving headfirst into it. Specifically Carolyn Mace's Energy Anatomy. She has two very deep audio recordings. One's called Energy Anatomy, and then the other one is called Energy Anatomy Advanced. So that is something, I think they're audios. I don't know if she has like a book or textbook, but those are audios that are, I think like 9 to 10 hours long, but they're really profound. She actually goes through every single chakra, which I eventually will start doing readings for the chakra system. I don't think we're there yet. There's so much, this month has been so robust with different tasks that I've been asked to be present with. But again, let's bring it back to boundaries. So yes, this coming to the edge. So some of you may be struggling to discern what is your edge. Everyone has one. And if you aren't intentional and mindful and bring that edge from the shadows into the light, you'll cross it without even knowing you're crossing it. So there's something here about stopping this cycle of going round and round with, crossing your boundary, draining your energy, having to recover, then recovering, then doing it again. There's something here about getting ahead of this cyclical pattern. I just got the message that when we cross our boundary, it causes friction with the soul. The soul cannot properly move through the vessel and vessel what you came here to bring to the world if you are constantly running on empty, right? If you're running on fumes, at some point it causes damage to the car, to the engine, I don't know anything about cars, but you get the analogy. Yeah, okay, hold on. Yeah, we also have in the unconscious this idea of don't wait until it's too late to get what you want. This there's this great man, his name is, forgive me if I say it wrong, Sri Kumar Rao, and he does this great talk on the if-then model. right? I think I've spoken about this different times throughout the readings, but we have to be very careful and be diligent, energetic archaeologists to excavate these places where we have these binaries, these associations, right? If I have $1 million, then I can start that business and quit my job. If I lose weight, then I can have the relationship of my dreams. If I, if I'm in service to everyone else, then I'll have time to be in service to myself. These are illusionary binaries. These are things that are they're just false. They're just not true. They're rooted in our perceptions, and more oftentimes than not, our perceptions are illusions, right? They're based off of our egos, the stuff our ego picked up along the way. They're based off of our childhood stories, our family of origin stories that we inherited. Sometimes it's not even our story, we just kind of inherited it. So it's important to remember, again, don't wait until it's too late to get what you want. There's no such thing as, the perfect time. There's only the desire, the honoring of a desire, and then the aligned action steps towards your soul's deepest alignment. Okay, that was a dense message. Okay, this is a very specific message, and I'm surprised it's coming up in a self-care message, but then again, not surprised. For some of you that are stepping into some tangible success, and I say tangible because I mean that it's showing up in 3D, that you can actually touch it, that you're in real time moving with this, whatever concept of success is for you. Be mindful that if you find that you are stepping into this new arena and you are receiving extra, what you feel to be extra criticism, or you feel that you're meeting a friction or abrasion that doesn't really make sense to you, honor that this criticism is a sign of success. That means your light is becoming bright enough and your voice is becoming loud enough that you are starting, your sustained aligned frequency is starting to rattle the cages of other people's auric fields, right? Your energy is taking up so much beautiful space right now that it's actually bumping into other people, places, and things. And sometimes that can activate people or trigger people to reflect on where they lack success in their own life or where they struggle to take action on their desires. So I just want to ground this and just keep this in perspective as you take another step, as you take another aligned step forward. Yeah, that feels very important. Let's see. I guess I'm just going to ask the question of, and maybe you could even journal about these things. What is your relationship in this moment to your self-worth? What is your relationship to kindness in this moment? Both kindness externally with others and kindness to self internally. What is blocking pieces of your light? What is dimming your light? Is there anything showing up for you that is dimming your ability to shine brightly? Is there anything in the way of either your own illumination or illuminating something for someone else? Is there a piece of your happiness that you have been pushing into the shadow? I'm looking at that happiness card right here, and one side she's in the light and the sunshine, and it's a beautiful bright blue skies with beautiful white fluffy clouds, and she's smiling. And the other is this nighttime card. Her eyes are closed, her head is tilted down. She almost has a sadness overcoming her. Is there something when you're in the privacy of your own bed and heart at nighttime that comes out, a deeper desire, a deeper truth that you haven't really allowed to see the light of day? I just got full body chills and tears started to well up in my eyes. Whatever that is for you, that's where you need to go, right? The cave we fear to enter always holds the treasure we seek. So lean into that beauty, lean into that shadow, and bring the light of day into the dark of night. You will not regret this. You will not feel sorry or limited. This is your path to expansion, of finding the beauty in the darkness. I didn't, those emotions came out of nowhere. So those are somebody's emotions. Okay. Where to go next? Yeah, it's interesting. I have this, where is it? I have this mystical wisdom deck. I think that's what it's called. And there's all these very kind of heavenly fairy like images on these cards. And I haven't used this deck in a very long time. It was one of my first decks that I got. And it's so funny. I pulled it out and I started shuffling, and I said, the only card that would make sense here is the 7 heavenly virtues. And what's so crazy is that it was actually the first card to come out. Hold on, I'm going to try to read from the book because let's see if I could find it. Bear with me. So it's just very interesting to me because so many people are used to hearing about the 7 deadly sins, but very few people are used to hearing about the 7 heavenly virtues. So I'm just going to run through them very quickly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read this whole card. The 7 heavenly virtues, keys to goodness. You represent spiritual enlightenment, divine knowledge, and wisdom. You have faith and believe in all that is good and meaningful. You have a deep intuitive understanding of God, the angels, and the universal spirit. You know the keys to goodness. You are being asked to use this knowledge to empower and teach others. So the 7 heavenly virtues are faith, belief and trust in the right things, hope, belief that good will prevail, charity, unlimited loving kindness towards others. Sorry, the oneness got me on that one. We have fortitude, never give up, justice, being fair and equitable towards others, patience, accepting the grace to forgive, and temperance, practicing self-control and moderation. So you can go back and rewind and listen to these things, or even take some notes on them to just remind you. You could even put it on a sticky note on your mirror when you're brushing your teeth, and just remember that despite the chaos that's happening around you, that you always have access to holding your center for love, holding on to these particular virtues or habits of doing good. If these do not resonate with you, feel free to write your own virtues. I think that would be a beautiful exercise for you to journal on. What are your habits of doing good that resonate with your soul, that really enliven your spirit? There's something about this path and this practice that will allow you the path to living your life to the fullest, to unfurl. There's something here again about this continues to come up, of not being afraid to fly solo, right? Each soul has a unique path that is meant to unfurl for them. And of course, it's always where every single individual is going to feel that this is an unconventional path because it's just unique to you. And so there's a bit, I mean, that takes some guts and glory, right? That takes some moxie is the word, to be able to turn away from convention and answer the call to your unique path, and to do so with your head held high, to do so with grace and ease and peace, to I'm seeing this card, like if this card was in the conscious position, look at her. She is delightfully, here, let me hold it up. She is delightfully dancing on the edge. She's having a ball on the edge of herself. And I've always said that if we are living life and walking this path with integrity and sincerity, then we are always walking the edge of self, right? We're always teetering between contraction and expansion, between fear and love. And so what would it feel like in your body? And I invite you to journal about this as well. What would it actually feel like for you as the unique divine soul that you are to walk this edge of yourself, to kind of stand in the flames of discomfort and comfort? What would that feel like? How would you wake up in the morning? What would someone like that, what would be fun for someone like that? What would be too far for someone like that? What would be, how would that person parent their kids? How would that person build a business? How would that person, I don't know, fill in the blank? How would that person who can dance in the flames show up in life? How would she take space? How would she hold her boundaries? And I'm saying she, that's very interesting because there's something wild and feminine about this, whether you're in a male or, whatever man, woman, or other, whatever body you're in or whatever energy you're embodying. There's a certain feminine wildness to this. I mean, it's also, it appears to be a woman in a dress with flowy whatever, but whatever. It's interesting and this is for, masculine energies who maybe haven't felt safe enough to sink deeper into their internal feminine. I invite you to create some sacred space to allow yourself to melt into this delicious, fun and free and wild and sovereign feminine energy. Okay. Yeah, we have several cards of sensuality and pleasure here. So this may be a time you can create pleasure rituals or build in extra space and extra time in your schedules. Instead of taking, a 30-minute lunch break, maybe you can take a little bit longer lunch break, or maybe plan for a 15-minute lunch break, but then devote extra minute to each moment to activate your senses and really drop in. We're trying to, if you can't increase the physical time, we want to increase the quality of our time. I'm very drawn to this drink tea card because in many Zen practices, drinking tea and making tea and cultivating of the tea leaves, it's a very Zen practice, right? It's about how much presence and awareness and loving attention can we bring to this ritual. So micro presence to this deeply rewarding ritual. We have the look for the fairies card, right? It's about allowing your psyche and your conscious awareness to look for magic, implying that it's there, knowing that these things are dancing around you. All you need is your awareness to activate what's already flowing in this quantum field. We have aromatherapy, we have sound healing, spending time with friends, did I say aromatherapy? I think I did. Um, and also doing what feels right for you to, at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, to clear your energy field. This could look like so many different things. I'm not going to pretend to know them all or list them even here because it's such a unique, intimate experience. Um, you know, it could be as simple as setting an intention when you wake up for the day, or sharing a affirmation or a prayer of gratitude in the beginning of the day. And at the end of the day, which is actually the most important, is to give back, return all of this energy that you picked up during the day to the quantum field, to the void, to the divine, to source. What you're doing here is you're interrupting these patterns that have been in place in your system for a very long time, right? We didn't arrive at this pattern through, once or twice. It's been this long-term, lifelong repetition that has allowed us to get stuck or to create a groove that is harder to get out of. So be very gentle with yourself as you start to kind of interrupt these patterns. We don't have to be perfect on day one. You could just maybe add one new experience, one new ritual, one new exercise, or one moment of journaling, whatever this is for you. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, what's interesting is this entire time I cannot stop staring at this use your hands card. It looks like a woman who's on like a pottery wheel making a pot, and it's in the unconscious. So there's a message here around, I'm going to lovingly, calmly call you out and ask you, is there something that you've been avoiding where you don't want to get your hands dirty? There's something here about, if you bring this thing out of the shadows into the light, you would actually have to get a little messy. So whatever that thing is, I'm not saying that you have to jump right into it, but I am saying that I am inviting you to start tracking it, because it has more power over your unconscious than you think. So it's important to write that thing down, and then maybe spend some time feeling into, what is it about this thing that is so uncomfortable? What is it about this thing? A very common theme in this path of illumination and awakening is that once our eyes are open, we can no longer go back to unseeing, right? Once we've awakened, we can't go backwards. So there's something here that, and I honor that fear. I honor that the, um, the preparation, the energetic, mental, physical, spiritual preparations that need to be in place for you to actually look at something directly. And I honor that you have to be prepared for that, right? This is something in spiritual guidance or spiritual counseling that is so important. You can't just send people in to surrender to their deepest, darkest crap, right? We have to be prepared for the repercussions of what this healing will do in our lives. Because sometimes the repercussions of this action mean breaking up with someone we love, leaving a job, moving locations, reclaiming something that we've abandoned for many years. These are not small potatoes here. These are really, really big things. This is a really fascinating reading. I thought it was going to be a light and fluffy self-care reading, but it's much deeper than that, as it always is. And another card I can't stop staring at is this orphan card. This came up recently in another reading, and you're being invited to bring ease, flow, grace, and peace to these abandoned pieces of self. As you go round and round up the spiral, honor where you've come from and honor where you are, having grounded faith in where you are going. It's funny, let me pull this out. So we have, yes, that's the orphan card, but we have this round and round card. And what's interesting, of course, the spiral has been used by many cultures to symbolize this spiritual path, upward, inward, downward, outward, all the places. However, when I first saw it round for round, I thought about boxers. And there's something here about make sure you're not going round for round and toe to toe with your internal parts in an unkind manner, right? You're not trying to pummel your internal parts. The idea is you're not going for the knockout, right? You're not going round for round in this combative uh I can't think of the word, combative. You're not trying to win this race, right? The true way to win with your internal family parts is to bring them even deeper into love, is to integrate all of these parts and all of their pains, pleasures, contractions, limiting beliefs. You are welcoming them to your family dinner table. You are embracing these inner parts. That's a very strong distinction. And be careful. Also, this is a separate message for some of you. I'm going to call you out to be incredibly intentional about your languaging around this. Like, to give you an example, in the beginning of my spiritual path, I really struggled to overcome my emotions. I felt at the mercy of my emotions, which most empaths do in the beginning. That's their rite of passage to overcome that. However, I used to say all the time, I want to conquer myself. I can't wait to conquer myself. And it took me many years to realize that that was such harsh languaging, right? We're not these tyrants over these internal parts. We actually have to recognize our familial connection. They're a very prominent part of our internal family system. Okay, I'm going to end on a divine feminine Buddha wisdom. Anything else for self-care? We have the force of the flowing river causes the flowers, the herbs, and trees to grow. The sacred wisdom in your heart has magical power for your spiritual growth. Beautiful way to end. Sending you all a lot of love, and I'll see you in the next one.